Imagine the horror scene, man. Life surrounds us with thousands of evil spirits, among the graves and screaming all day long. And at night now, think about why is the same. The demons themselves are meeting Jesus, asking to send them to a group of pigs. The answer may change your understanding of spiritual power and the authority of Christ. At the end of this video, you will understand not only the reason for this, an unusual request, but also a powerful one. Jesus and how it can be. Let's find out this interesting thing. The history of the sun begins on the shore, the Sea of Galilee, in an area known as the land of Gadara. The waves had calmed down and the apostles were still, confused by the miracle they witnessed. The surprise of setting foot on land, surprise at a demon-possessed man running towards the demon. This man is described in detail in the 5th chapter of the Gospel of Mark, and the 8th chapter of the Gospel of Luke lives in. The conditions can only be called a terrifying place where he lives among the graves, which in Jewish culture is considered. He is always dirty and scary, naked, exposed to cold, heat, and public humiliation. He is so cruel that no one could hold him, even with chains and shackles. Day and night he wandered through the tomb, and the mountains screamed and the beatings echoed throughout the area. Become a painful reminder of not the usual possession of the Bible. The text suggests that the person is controlled by a legion of demons. Each one can have up to thousands of demons. Seems to be a thread entangled in a complex man. In the constant suffering, the encounter between Jesus and this man is one of the most worthy opponents in the Bible. David and Goliath is a man. He saw Jesus and he ran and fell face down before him. For a brief moment it seemed to him, the true nature of this man. Fly through the shadow of the devil, realize the power. Hello, wonderful demons in human voice. Scream what you need from me, God's Son. I pray to God Almighty not to torment you. Something is revealed in this cry. Impressive demons will recognize it immediately. The personality of Jesus and his absolute power. There was no doubt about them or any resistance. They know who they are and fear their power. It looks like a criminal kneeling before the Supreme Being. Judge immediately admits his actions and beg for mercy for this reaction. Take us back to the passage of James chapter 2, verse 19. Do you think there is a God so good that even the devil believes in and trembles in fear? Here we see how clear this is. The truth is that demons don't just believe in Jesus, but they also trembled before him when they recognized him. The dominion that Jesus then demonstrated, his power and command over evil spirits. Leave at this point the story takes place. Interesting twist, he asked how. At first glance, this question is your name. Jesus may seem strange. Is God? I don't know the answer, but Jesus' intention was not to seek information for yourself, that is disclosure, the severity of the situation for his students, and send to our readers about the culture of that time. Knowing someone's name means having power over that person. This question, Jesus showed dominion and forced evil to come to the surface. The answer was disturbing. My name is Legion because that there are many of us to whom the term legion is referred. Roman military unit numbering 6,000 soldiers. This is not necessarily means there is a devil. The exact same amount, but it shows that the person was under the control of a large amount of evil spirits. This revelation heightens the drama of the meetings and demonstrating the depth of Jesus' power over the kingdom of darkness seems united in the mission of destruction. This man's life helps us understand the intensity of spiritual warfare. What happened at that time was also brings us back to the words of St. Paul in his letter to the Ephesians chapter 6, verse 12, for our war is not against everyone, but against the boss, the government of this dark world, and against evil forces in heaven. Now we come to the decision. The timing of this story is special. At the request of the evil spirits, they begged Jesus not to expel them from the area. More precisely, they asked permission to join a large herd, the pigs grazing there at first look. This request may seem strange, even absurd. It does not matter. Imagine what a criminal is. After being arrested, he asked to be taken to a specific camera. Why these spirits are so interesting, we can understand this. It is necessary to analyze the cultural and spiritual aspects. First, we must remember that in Hebrew, pigs are considered unclean in culture. The law of Moses was written in Leviticus chapter 11 verses 7 and 8 prohibits the use of pork and pigs more than once. Many times the police, but not chewing gum, is unclean. Do not eat their flesh or touch their carcasses. They will be unclean to you. How a large herd of pigs survive in this area indicates that we are mainly involved. Pagan territory known as Decapolis, now 10 cities. This detail of Greco-Roman culture is very important because it shows that Jesus' ministry was not limited in the Jews, but also reached places considered religiously inadequate. Standards of the time, demands of evil. The soul entering the pig is not random. These creatures are facing the undeniable. Jesus' authority was desperately sought. Ways to stay physically active. Pigs are the last thing in the world for them. A means of preserving some earthly thing. Influence is the same as exchange. A villa for a sun hut would be better than being completely banished. Furthermore, the claim to possession of the pigs, they have revealed their destructive nature. Furthermore, the claim to possession of the pigs could create chaos in the region, behavior that reminds us of the words of Jesus, recorded in the Gospel of John. The 10th sentence decor is only for looting, killing, and destroy even before the failure of these evil hirelings. Cause as much damage as possible. Also makes us think how evil operates in our lives. When it was about to be defeated, try to apply as much as possible. Damage what happens next. Impressive and absolute demonstration of the power of Jesus in just one word. If Jesus says you want a pig, then take this right without any sign of weakness. It reveals the full power of Jesus. He was in complete control of the situation, allowing the devil to act. Only within the limits set by him, the results are immediate, and tragically, the entire herd of about 2,000 pigs rushed down the hill into the sea, and drowning is a dramatic event. It teaches us profound truths. First of all, it emphasizes the absolute authority of Jesus. Before the mental strength of a simple commando, he decide the fate of thousands of evil creatures that he, as if the conductor is directing everyone as sovereign, and the devil is nothing more than the plays that depend on him. The second emphasizes the destructive nature of evil. The presence of evil spirits guides the innocent pigs to destruction, and dead creatures fall victim to them. Pervert before release. It reminds us that evil does not bring prosperity, but always creates destruction. As it is written in the Proverb chapter 10, the road is difficult. Without law, the reaction of the people in this area is very indicative and gives us something interesting, an idea of how people often, the swineherds responded to the power of God when they saw it. What happened? Ran to the city and spread the word. We can imagine the chaos and consequences. Who is calling Noni? A large crowd gathered to understand what happened. It seems like the area was shaken by mental shock upon arrival. They discovered the scene untouched. Logic was once a haunted man famous for terrorism. The area with its cry and its extraordinary, by force now, sit up straight, get dressed, and in the sober transformation of the past, and as cool as Uranus calm, Brie used to represent chaos, and destruction has now become an example of peace, and update changes like that. So impressive that it seems unbelievable, has become a living testimony to the transforming power of Jesus. However, the crowd's reaction was not joyful or gratitude. On the contrary, everyone is afraid. This fear not only immediately and deeply compels them, ask Jesus to leave this area. The answer shows that there is divine power when she throws, challenge their understanding or threaten them. This way of life and attitude is similar to the attitude of Israel at Mount Sinai, who asked Moses to speak to God instead of them because they are afraid to meet the divine directly. Presence of results. On the other hand, the reaction of 208 and 19 people liberated was completely another man. He wanted to follow Jesus, expressed gratitude and deep longing to be with the one who freed him. As if God said, give me a new life, and now I want to give all to you. This attitude reminds us of the Samaritan woman. Runner meets Jesus, told the city about him, and on the 28th and Myra 29th. However, how come it is not surprising that Jesus has other plans? Instead of this person, let him go with the friend he gave. Give him a clear assignment, go home and tell him, "To my family, everything I create is for you, God, and how he has had mercy on your mark." Where this guide is full of meaning, shows personal testimony of very powerful transformation, news dissemination tool. Kingdom of Jesus knows that influence. This man's testimony about him. People will be more profound than any lecture he could give. In this area, it is like, Jesus will sow the gospel in this pagan territory used to liberate people. As the first missionary to his people, immediately comply with in text. Told us that he had traveled everywhere. 10 claims miracles. Jesus created him, making everyone. The joy of 10 includes cities with mainly Greek culture was considered pagan by the Jews. The actual areas that Jesus sent this, the witness there shows its comprehensive nature. He came not only for the Jews, but also for all nations. This man before, social reject, now ambassador. Kingdom of God, the story of the transfiguration. Bridge between Jesus and areas that otherwise give the gospel message. Awesome, imagine what impact this would have. Evidence, imagine that people who knew this man before, now they see him with the right mind dressed and claim it will be like that, as if someone is famous for violent behavior suddenly becomes an example. Change and explain this change. Encounter with Jesus text says, everyone was surprised. Of course, many people were forced to search. Person authorized to do so, this story is forced to change. We think about the nature of evil and spirituality. Power, it is rarely so obvious in Bible when the devil asked to enter the pig. They revealed something important in nature, that is the need for physicality. Master of operations in the material world, as if they were spiritual beings. And the effects of a parasite depend on its physical form. Shows that these entities, although their power has significant limitations, they are fighting desperately to maintain activity in the physical world, even if it means living among animals. This perspective helps us better understand the often invisible spirit. The battle is going on all around us as there may be a spiritual realm that constantly interacts with the physical world. In Paul's words in section 6 and 12th letter to the Ephesians, takes on new meaning in light of this. Historically, our struggle is not against the flesh and blood, but against the government, against the darkness of the world in this age. Evil angels in the sky against the spherical government. This sentence reminds us that in our daily battle to survive, reality goes beyond what we can perceive with our physical bodies. Through the eyes of a demon-possessed man, reptilians give us something rare. Chance to see this spirituality. Conflict and power fully expressed. Jesus over the devil is important. Moment in this story and worthy of our attention. Attention to which the devil offers no resistance and don't try to fight God. They immediately recognize their superiority and beg for mercy, like if you surrender to the enemy commander, an entire army knew they had no chance. Winning this shows that mentally, the scope of Jesus' authority is undeniable, and in the end they even bowed before him, this most powerful dark force. The principle is confirmed in the 2nd chapter. Philip on the 10th and 11th, Tirostefon, sentences with such words before the name. Jesus fell on each knee in heaven, on earth and under the earth, in every tongue. Confession for the glory of God from the end. This story makes us think. How we react to, we are like the transformative residents of the city. Ask Jesus afraid or feeling uncomfortable because of its variable presence, or we will be like liberated people. Strive to follow Jesus and tell others about the amazing work, what he has accomplished in our lives. Before selecting, we can select an area. Comfortable with what is known, even if it means remaining the same situation, or we can accept the fundamental changes it proposes. We have a liberating encounter with Jesus. The man decided to become the ambassador of the kingdom. God uses his story, change, to influence others. Example calls for the same. Shine Christ the Lord in your heart. and always ready with tenderness, and answer with fear to anyone who asks. You are the reason for the hope in you. The story of a fortune teller possessed by a demon is a powerful reminder that no matter what, no matter how hopeless our situation, Jesus has the power to bring liberation, healing action, and new goals. And when we are going through this transformation, we share it with the outside world by becoming its instruments. Change in our own community. Video ends here. See you from you next video. God bless you.